It's about that time
It is.
for the ladies in the living room to discuss all the events in the Bravoverse and beyond, I must say.
Oh yeah.
Let's just break it down. Woke up to the news this morning of Val Kilmer passing away. Oh no.
Oh my God.
Hottest ever as Jim Morrison.
Iceman? Oh, Jim Morrison.
Oh, of course, Iceman.
I mean, that's when I had my first crush on him, was when I saw him in Top Gun.
All I know is that my friends and I, you know what we would do? This was the time for the listeners that only know from, compact discs or, just hitting fast forward. We would have to get the movie. We would pause it. It was on a tape, and we would pause the volleyball scene, like right where they were going to serve, and all the ripples were like, all the muscles and the 12 packs were shining.
Yeah.
And he was right in there. That was his big break, though. That's what made him sort of a box office name.
That put him on the map. For sure, movie.
But like hot.
He kind of put Tom Cruise to shame.
Yes,
Tom
he did.
Cruise was so huge then.
Yes, man.
But it was like, who is
Well,
that?
he was kind of coming up too a little bit, even though Cruise was.
Yeah, he was. You're
that
right.
like threw him over the edge too. I mean, I think he was a bigger name.
Yes.
Than Val Kilmer, but all of a sudden it was like, okay.
Yes.
Hot tamale, and then of course Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But Jim Morrison, him as Jim Morrison.
He was great as Jim Morrison.
As a matter of fact, our friend Jennifer Tilly. Now, I saw the Doors movie a zillion years ago.
Wait,
I don't
she
remember.
was in that?
She said that there was a quote from her on the news, and it said, all of a sudden, Val drove up in a convertible with the Doors blaring, and you knew no one else could play the role of Jim Morrison but him. So I guess Tilly was in the movie.
She must have been.
I only saw bits and pieces, and I don't remember Jennifer Tilly because normally I would know something like this.
Yes.
But it wouldn't shock me. Or maybe she auditioned for it, but maybe she was in it. Or she was like hot tamale back in her day.
Yeah, she was big in the 90s, kind of.
So we are sad about Val. And he was only 65. And the thing is,
he had throat cancer.
For such a hot. And I also watched, let me tell you, if you have a minute, go watch Val. There's his son made a documentary about him.
I saw it.
It was very good, I thought.
It was very good. It
was
really
really well
sad
done.
to see the condition he was in.
Especially because he was so hot.
Yeah,
especially because he was just so gorgeous.
He was.
He didn't look terrible in the, in Top Gun Maverick when he comes back at the end. I mean, he didn't look all that terrible.
Okay, yeah.
For as bad as he was.
Yeah.
He was talking.
I think Tom Cruise insisted that he be
did.
in the movie.
He did.
Yeah.
Which I like that about Tommy Boy.
I do too.
I like that. I like that he did that for his friend.
Yeah.
And then now as a
that was probably technically his last movie, right?
I get
Maverick.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was sad to wake up to. And then something shocking is our friend Bronwyn Newport. Bronwyn. I don't know what the actual F is going on.
She did something shocking.
But so allegedly, I guess, because she hasn't come out and said anything, but very clearly are there court documents of Bronwyn Allison Newport. Many a charge against her. Identity theft, forgery, like all these different. And it's clearly her name. I mean, it's not anybody else but her. Many other charges, too. They were like putting them up. Like somebody found, the Bravoverse goes crazy. So once they find out like there's one thing out there, then they start investigating. And there was plenty of court documents, allegedly, with her name on it. I don't know what this is about, but all I can say
is confusing to me.
If Todd the Crypt Keeper if he doesn't know that she did this, Bronwyn's gonna find herself knee high to a grasshopper. She gonna be out on her butt or on her kissing the street, kissing the pavement.
Yeah.
In 2.2 seconds.
Hell yeah. Unless whatever this is, he's in on it with her, which would shock me because he just seems like such a straight and arrow businessman.
But it also seems
I don't know.
Wouldn't
and
Bravo
a multimillionaire.
Just do the
weird.
background check, unless Bravo does them and go, oh, you know what? This is going to pop out. When it does, it's going to be great for us and it's going to be bad for her. Because how hard is it to do a background check on somebody that's coming on the show?
Well, this would be a second time then because we have Jen Shaw. I'm talking about a second time with Salt Lake City.
We
got
could do
Jen
an
Shaw,
entire.
and now is this possible? Bronwyn would be the last person
on that show.
We could do a marathon
speech on how many housewives have been arrested,
Oh my
have
God.
done shady shit, have DUIs, have
Right.
gone to jail. I mean, this is like kind of a problem. And I don't know if Bravo just looks the other way or if they really don't know. Or they're just great at covering it up.
But also, why would you want to go on TV if you've got this in you? I never understand
I don't
this.
know.
Do you really think it's not going to get uncovered?
Or
I don't
maybe
know.
they just don't care. But I mean, Bronwyn will care.
Yeah,
Todd-
she would totally care.
Todd will care.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see if this is what this is.
Also, is it real? Like, is this for sure?
Could it be a deep fake? Could it be a deep fake?
Yeah, we got to
But
see.
they're filming right now, so the timing is totally sus.
Uh-huh.
Or who's Bronwyn pissing off over there right now?
Yeah.
Somebody's mad, and all of a sudden,
Who's good at digging up dirt on that
so the
show?
timing is very suspect.
Okay.
Is very sus. So
Wow.
who knows? I guess there'll be more on the breaking Bronwyn story, and we'll see what happens. And wasn't there a
Yeah.
third thing? Oh,
Yeah.
you saw it this morning.
Well, a rumor. Well, not really a rumor.
Rumor
so
has it.
there was
Rumor
something
has
written
it.
about Erika Jayne doing some show in England, and there was like a little bio about her, and
Uh-oh.
it said former Real Housewife.
Dun, dun, dun.
Was that a typo, or is this the
I
now?
don't know.
I don't think she would have that put on there without it being announced
No
first.
way.
And she wouldn't get booted from that.
And she
show.
needs the
Would
green.
she? I don't know.
She needs the green.
And she would never leave that show. She would. It would. They would have to ask her to leave. But would they ask her to leave?
Listen,
I don't know.
stranger things have happened. Beverly Hills is, again, another one that's bzz, bzz, bzz. The show is short-circuiting.
Yeah.
All Kyle has to do is say, I'm leaving, and that's it.
Yeah.
Then the whole franchise is going to crumble. Or they're going to
for sure.
I don't think they're ready for a reboot yet, but they're getting close, I think. But should we get into Beverly Hills?
Let's do it.
Let's talk
the
about it.
reunion.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Excuse me, taking the Lord's name in vain, but oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I have a thought on this ambush.
Okay.
We can get to the other parts of it, but
It was an ambush.
holy shit.
Yeah.
That was an ambush on Garcelle. Now,
Yeah.
you and I have both said this season that like Garcelle wasn't our favorite this season.
No.
We love Garcelle, but she was poking the bear a little bit. She was a little too Sutton-y.
Yeah.
You know, they got accused of being mean girls by Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay. But this sort of outpouring of just kind of like,
Ooh.
beating down on her. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, where is this coming from? First of all, okay.
And she looked surprised. Like she
Well,
said something.
but
Like I
wait.
thought they were going to come for Sutton and they came for me.
Well, I think Sutton's scared shitless that it's coming for her. She's just sitting
Yeah.
there like the whole time.
God,
But where
didn't
was
say
she?
barely 2 words.
Where was she for her friend the whole time? I mean,
Yeah,
I know Sutton's like 12 steps from the emergency room. Like she was the last show where she had to get up and go. She's shitting her pants because she
Yeah, I
knows
think
it's
she
coming
is.
for her. But you didn't at one
shitting her
moment
pants.
stand up for Garcelle.
No.
Here's what I think is going on. And
Okay.
here's where I think this came from.
Tell
Okay.
me. Yeah.
So all season, right? We're hearing, first of all, none of this pops up all season. Nobody's really saying anything. There
No,
might have
they
been-
said a few things. Like Erika said stuff in her confessionals.
right, that where
About
what,
Garcelle and the call outs and stuff.
right. But it wasn't a big thing.
No.
Dorit got way too much airtime this whole season.
Yeah.
It was way
she-
too much
She carried a lot
on
of
this
the
jacked
season.
up freaking relationship
Yes.
with PK. Like
Oh,
whatever's
man.
going on, it's so jacked.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
everybody's thinking, oh, Kyle's been here the longest, right? Kyle's a producer on the show. Well, let me tell you,
Yeah.
I think what happened was Kyle was pissed that Garcelle kept bringing up Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
And brought up the lesbian thing. And she said, we even laughed about it at Chuck E. Cheese. We laughed when I said, Kyle, just say you're a lesbian. Like,
Yeah.
secretly, I think Kyle was mad.
Yeah.
And she recruited Erika to say, because Erika will just do whatever Kyle says.
Of course she will.
So she was like, because when Erika said, we want to see more of the juicy scoop. We want to see more of the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
And Garcelle's like, but this is my whole life. I don't know what else I could show. And she was just like, well, I wish you were more interesting.
Yeah.
To me, that was meaner than calling her fat.
Yeah.
Like I just thought it came off so mean. Like it was
Oh
like
my God. Like,
really a gut
you're like
punch.
nothing.
Like you're right. Like your life
Yeah.
is just blah,
Boring.
is a throwaway. Meanwhile, okay, so sorry, Erika,
Yeah.
that she didn't go through a divorce with her crazy 30-year-old, husband, 30 years older than her husband,
Yeah.
who decided to steal from these poor people that were in a plane crash. Sorry, you were forced to go through that on the show.
Yeah,
and you
of course she
decided to
was.
let it play out on the show.
Yes.
Right? Sorry that she's not going through a divorce. She's like, my divorce happened way before the show.
Yeah.
So she's not going through that. Sorry that she's not being a hoe and banging 20 different guys in LA. Like, sorry, that's not happening. Like, I
Yeah.
think she's inspirational. We're seeing her work her ass off for her career, which she had prior to the show.
Yes.
So,
That's
ew,
right.
I was so grossed out. However, I think that Kyle does have a lot of pull. And I think
yeah.
Kyle was mad, and now Kyle wants her out. Either
Yeah.
they're going to fire her or
Yeah.
they're going to make her, she's going to make them so uncomfortable like they did at
It worked.
that she's going to leave.
She's gonna leave. Look, when they first came out
This
to
is
the
all
couch,
orchestrated by Kyle.
she had
said
you
it.
could tell
Kyle's pissed
Garcelle's
at
like,
me.
oh, I hope we finally get a group picture. Fast forward, she wasn't in the group
Right,
picture.
you know that she left.
So she left. So she had Garcelle coming in had no intention of leaving. It doesn't
No
seem.
way.
It doesn't seem.
But when the whole squad is upon you.
Yeah, I think that was it. This reunion did it for
And
her.
Erika said literally like, I just wish you were more interesting. Like your life has zero interest to me.
To me, right.
And Kyle's on her like, well, we both hurt each other. Well, she's like, well, you hurt me too this season, Garcelle. I think this is all Kyle. And then
yeah.
Sutton,
I wasn't thinking that. You're right.
But Sutton's sitting there with her little thumb up her ass
Oh,
when she
Jesus.
goes,
Yeah.
well, she's like, you two are mean girls together. And she said, well, Sutton, what did you say? What did you say when we spoke off camera? Because Kyle's like, we spoke off camera about Morgan.
Yeah.
And she's like, but Garcelle, why did we speak off camera?
Yeah.
Why are we not speaking on camera?
Yeah.
And she's like, because I thought we were friends. And I told you why, because she didn't sign up for this. So Morgan, meaning Morgan. So Garcelle's asking all the questions to Kyle, and Kyle did not like it.
Yeah.
So now Kyle, and then she said, Sutton, what did you say? And she said, this is a chess move.
Yeah.
That she spoke to you off camera.
Yeah.
And of course, Sutton didn't like that because she outed Sutton. And I'm glad Garcelle.
I'm so glad she outed
because
Sutton.
I would imagine
Sutton is afraid of her own friggin' shadow.
Sutton is just
Get
such
the
a
hell outta here.
psychotic, short-circuiting woman.
Yeah.
She don't know what's happening. She just scared, and she ready to go to the emergency room. I love that
Yeah.
Andy was like, we still have cards from last year.
Yeah.
That we didn't get to
Oh,
after
yeah.
we went to the emergency room.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty lame that they left last season.
Totally.
To go to the
Because she didn't want to be
lame.
questioned.
Oh, she had food poisoning or whatever.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
Even Garcelle, I was
Fucking
disappointed
drama.
that Garcelle went with her. Are you crazy?
Well, if she has to notice that she is, if Garcelle didn't get the freaking big fat red flag hint that Sutton is not going to stand up for you. And it's really sad
Yes.
because she really wants to be in that Kyle crowd when she had a real friend in Garcelle sitting right next to her, and she kind of just tossed it off, I feel like.
Yeah, she did.
And I really believe that Kyle's behind that whole thing.
I think so.
And of course, Dorit's pissed off at her because they were having the whole thing. And she said, she also said, Garcelle, which they happen to point out, said, I feel like Bose is an embryo up Dorit's coochie.
Yeah. I mean, look, it is funny.
So Dorit was like, I'm not saying anything, Garcelle. She wasn't a Garcelle fan either, but I honestly think that Kyle's behind this whole thing.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking Kyle has influence with the producers and with everyone, well, you're right, because she does. And it was very clear there last night.
Well, did you see in the
That's
beginning?
my point. God damn it.
You're totally right. I think you're totally right. And again, when they came out and they started sitting on the couch, did you hear Garcelle mumble? She's like, "Oh, Kyle's mad at me. She didn't even say hello. She's not even looking at me."
And then she said,
Kyle was mad.
And Kyle said something to Andy right in the beginning about Garcelle. So
Yeah.
clearly, but But my point also is, where was this season? They had that nice, Kyle and Garcelle had that nice talk on the boat. And she even said to her, like, I need to know where I'm going as a woman. Garcelle's like, I've been out on one date and I felt like they were really attacking her life. Like, I was really horrified. It really was down and dirty, I thought.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to make her leave, well, guess what?
Yeah.
They got their wish.
They got their wish.
I wouldn't have stuck around after that either. And I think it's genius timing for her to leave.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't looking that great.
No.
And a whole nother season.
She didn't have a good season.
And a whole nother season of her.
No.
And, and then she even threw shade. Erika threw shade at her house. She was like, you got to do more than just go to your summer house in Oxnard or wherever,
Did she say that during the reunion? Oh, I missed it.
She said it somewhere.
Oh, she said it somewhere. Okay.
I think it was during I don't know where I heard it, but it could have been on there. However, I was like, this is below the belt.
She might have said it on Watch What Happens Live. And didn't she say in Bakersfield? Is
Bakersfield,
Bakersfield near Oxnard?
Yes.
Is
it?
Up there.
Oh,
okay.
Kind of, or
I'm like, why is she saying Bakersfield?
It's up in that, like, kind of boofu. Like I was telling you, it's not really a place where you're going to have a house.
Not much happening.
But guess what?
Yeah.
Garcelle even said this season, I'm a woman or I'm a young child from Jamaica. Right? Isn't she from Jamaica? Haiti.
Yeah.
So she's saying, if you would have told me as a young girl in Haiti that I would be in Hollywood and be like this boss producer and that I would have all these things, that I could buy myself another home and all this stuff. Like, I might not have been thrilled with Garcelle this season because of what she was doing with Sutton. However, that was out of left field and totally uncalled for.
Yeah.
And it's totally uncalled for. And I'm so happy.
Erika definitely took it too far.
Ooh.
She really did. She didn't need to say that.
I just thought
I just wish she was more interesting.
That was worse than anything she could have said. I don't know why it came off as, it was such a personal attack.
Yeah.
Like, she's putting her life out there that she's proud of, and she should be. She's a mom. She has kids. She has grandkids. She has her boys. She has a beautiful home. She has 2 beautiful homes. She's a successful producer.
Yeah.
She should be proud of her life. And for Erika to just shit on it?
Yeah, I know.
I just wish you were more interesting.
I wish you were more interesting,
Like,
I guess. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I will say this. What did Erika really bring this season?
Nothing.
She didn't bring much. She brought a renovated home.
And the fallout from Tom Girardi.
She was a voice of reason. That was good.
Yeah.
I give her credit for that. But yeah, the fallout from Tom Girardi, which came at the very end.
And by the way, I don't see anybody sneaking out of her little rented
Well, that's another thing.
house.
She was asked that question on Watch What Happens
And she
Live.
said she is banging guys.
I gave you my entire life. I lost my family. I lost everything I owned. But that was 2 seasons ago.
And by the way, she was forced to give that.
What are you doing for me today? That was yesterday.
Right, and she chose to stay on a show and let it play out.
Yeah, I think that when
she didn't do that willingly. How could she? She actually, the best move for her was to stay and let it play out.
I just think that
and
if
get
you
the sympathy.
Right. And if you're the centerpiece because you got a big storyline like she did with Tom Girardi, which she didn't ask for, it got thrown in her lap and she had to deal with it and all of that. You can't coast after that. And I feel like she kind of coasted this season. Now, again, she was interesting. She's always interesting to watch. I do like watching her. And she and I love that the way they talk. And she's funny and she's witty and she's, glamorous.
Yeah.
But I mean, she coasted. So if she's going to say to Garcelle, I don't know if you're so interesting, she didn't bring that much to the table.
I just wish she were more interesting. I don't know. It just came off horrifying. And
it did.
It just, I don't know. But to me, Kyle's puppet, Kyle said, Erika,
yes,
please.
I think
please.
So.
And then Kyle, oh, you hurt me, Garcelle, blah, blah, blah. And then Kyle's hands are somewhat clean. And by the way, Kyle has been on the show for 14 fucking years.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes.
For her to say, you're a mean girl to these two, to Sutton and Garcelle, Kyle has been the ultimate mean girl in many a situation,
including the season.
The whole show is mean girls.
Yeah, she was mean a lot this season.
I don't know. I feel like Bravo is really treading the line, and I think people are starting to turn on Bravo. Like all this hate shit and all this fighting and all this crap. Like I feel like the public is starting to turn.
Yeah.
And like it's all getting a little too mean-spirited and just too much. Like how much longer can this go on? Yes.
Right?
The Housewives stuff is just really down and dirty. And just like after New York and that whole season, that ending in Puerto Rico.
Terrible.
That was horrifying.
It was horrible.
It was awful.
Beverly Hills was definitely better than New York.
They need to like where are we with the old days? Like, let's get back to the old days
Yeah.
because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
this is not good.
No.
And it's such a turnoff.
It is.
And anyway, that is my thing.
I think it jumped the shark.
And
Housewives jumped the shark.
A
little bit.
They have in a lot of these shows. They've just been on too long.
Yeah,
they've been on too long. But
that's why they're probably doing some reboots because they're testing it out to see. Let's give some new blood all the way around.
And like the Dorit and PK, like what a fucked up thing. Like,
well, it made me sad to see the flashback of showing PK and her.
It's
and then
only
the statement that he's put out.
No, but when he said like, "Hey, Dorit,
code.
It's you and me, baby." All right, it's you and me, baby. I just think of Austin Powers, like, yeah, baby, yeah,
baby. Yeah,
but,
baby.
the statement I thought was
cold.
It was very passive aggressive. Like, the truth doesn't need a champion. I thought it was well written.
Yeah.
And I don't know if PK is that eloquent with his words, but he was like, look, I don't need to say that I'm a good father. Like, anybody that knows me knows, and the truth doesn't need a champion. I thought that was a great line, actually.
Yeah.
However, it seems that she was intimating during the time, though, that he's not sober. And she's very worried about it.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that. But the last scene they showed of Dorit and PK when they had their last dinner, it was like 2 episodes ago.
Sure.
He seemed drunk to me. Like he looked all disheveled and tired, and he
seems kind of drunk
I'm like,
to
is
me.
He drinking again?
He's got like an Arthur Bach quality. Remember Arthur? Hello, darling. Hello.
Dudley Moore.
He's got a Dudley Moore sort of quality about him, anyway. Like, hey, Dorit, baby, you know, baby. Like he could be shit canned. Or he could be totally sober. And
it's just the way he talks.
It's just kind of the way it happens,
it's
baby.
His affect.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
And it could be or it could not be. But I thought it was interesting also that she said she's still in love with him.
I think she
but
is.
she needs peace. And I feel bad because I
understand
that to be and another thing. Now, here was another thing that got me about Garcelle.
Yeah.
The fact that she keeps bringing up
the home invasion. It was bothering me too.
Oh, that is just bad form. I was like, Garcelle,
the meanness that was coming from Dorit was a genuine one. I don't think that was, I'm going to take Garcelle down. I think she's
just
so
like, why
upset.
are you so obsessed with this biggest trauma in my life? And you keep intimating that PK was part of it. And she's like, I didn't intimate that. She did sort of intimate it.
She
but
did.
She also, I think, maybe thought, did PK pay someone to do that? Or did someone else, like it was a setup, like did someone else, not her? Then she was trying to say, no, I never said it was
else pay.
Somebody, I don't know, somebody
right?
that was watching them, or it's just bad form on Garcelle's part. So that on top of everything else, and the fact that she kept doubling down saying like, was I the only one that thought that?
Well, it was good when she said you and 4 people on Twitter.
You and your 4 Twitter followers. I was like, ooh, Dorit, that was good. And then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I thought Dorit looked like something out of like Veronica Lake, out of like the Hollywood. Like
she looked gorgeous.
Hollywood glam.
Her hair was
I
perfect.
loved her hair. And
she
her
looked
dress.
the best to me.
She looked gorgeous. I don't know what Bose was thinking. Bose
I just wasn't crazy about her
crazy.
hair.
What was in the hair?
It was like Chiquita Banana.
I'm like exactly
style,
like. What are you doing?
She always looks good, but she could have.
That give her a headache.
I didn't like that look.
I didn't either.
But
and then,
she always looks. She's gorgeous. So
she is.
She can get away with it.
And the only thing I have to say about Bose, we've been a super fan of Bose.
Yeah.
The only thing that she brought up, which I thought was interesting, she was like, the whole thing was like, of course Bose came prepared. Of course she watched the show.
Yeah.
She met with Garcelle. Garcelle was like, I want your relationships to be your relationships. I'm not saying anything, which I think is great on Garcelle's part.
Agreed.
Be who you are. Watch the show, but meet people. And then she came in like that, but when she said,
figure it out organically.
I was manipulated. She goes, the part that's killing me is that I was manipulated into being friends with Dorit or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's like, that makes me think that you don't think anything of yourself.
Yeah, that was great
Garcelle.
that she said that.
And also, she's a smart businesswoman.
Hell yeah.
Nobody's going to manipulate her into being their friend.
No.
And I thought that was
no one is
interesting
manipulating
that she
that
brought that
lady, that boss lady. Get the hell out of here.
Exactly. So I thought it was interesting she brought that part up. And
but see, and I think again that's another one that took Garcelle aback. Like, whoa.
And then the whole thing with Kyle.
I don't think she was expecting any of that. She was probably expecting some from Dorit, but
it was
not
like the
rest.
whole thing was an ambush on her. I was like, oh my God, poor Garcelle.
It was Kyle. It was Erika. It was Dorit. It was a little Bose.
I see why Garcelle is like, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
this is what these people think of me.
She wasn't expecting this.
No, and I wouldn't have either based on the season she had. I would have expected her to take a little crap for
you know what it
Sutton and defending her, but
that's what I would have thought too. I definitely was expecting stuff from Dorit for sure, but not the Kyle stuff. The only last thing I want to say about this whole thing,
and then we'll move.
It was interesting that, even Kyle said again in private, Garcelle, I told you things. So she must have
said that.
Kyle said to Garcelle.
When they talked off camera.
Spoke off camera. And she, elaborated a little more about the Morgan stuff. And maybe I don't want to talk about it, but here's what's going on. And I think Kyle felt betrayed that then Garcelle went on camera, even though Kyle told her off camera, and then she brought it out.
However, it's just frustrating that this woman was on the show the season before. Kyle and her getting, their first letters on each other. Them doing a video where they're supposedly like kissing or having sex. Like this woman was all over the show, and now it's like hush, hush, we can't speak about it. But doesn't it show you the influence that Kyle has? And that is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, you're totally right.
It's Kyle's influence all over this thing.
Totally.
And then the other stuff piled on top about her saying about the home invasion, and with Dorit, and then Dorit getting on her about that. And then, she's going to need that vibrator that Sutton gave her. She's going to need that vibrator. She's like, I'm going to need this. Well, she didn't know how much she was going to need it.
Yeah.
Little stress reliever during lunch, And then, whatever, Sutton went in there and she was just like, oh my God, I'm on the fire line with you. Like Sutton knew she was in trouble because she didn't say one freaking word.
She didn't say one word. That might have been another reason why Garcelle storms off. I can't wait to see Garcelle storm off.
If she doesn't come back, I wouldn't be surprised. After lunch, I'd be like, because the more I'd stew on it, because she's like, fuck you, Sutton. But not you. Fuck you, Erika, for saying I'm not more interesting. Like, that's hurtful.
Yeah,
like, that's her whole life.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I'm not into like bashing people to bash them.
Well,
and she
Garcelle
was just
doing
Kyle's bidding over there. Sorry, that's what it is.
She's a genuinely honest person, Garcelle. I give her that.
Totally.
She's very upfront.
Totally.
So if she's saying, I really don't have, this is what it is with my life.
I went out on one date.
Yeah, I know.
She said, and look, what was she supposed to go out and take the guy on the one date? No.
I know.
Anyway, I don't see the cavalcade that's supposedly leaving your bedroom.
Yeah.
Over there, Erika. I don't see any naked asses running out of your house.
Erika feels like she's coasting because she gave us so much of her and Tom.
No.
I don't take the season to say I'm not showing you any of that.
No choice.
Yeah.
And it happened, and then she decided to let it play out on air. She didn't say, oh, by the way, it was all over the news anyway, so why not get your side of the story out there? Right. And that is all I will have to say until next week.
Yes.
Damn it.
If only Kyle would just tell us, I am with Morgan or I'm not. That's all she has to do.
Yep. But she's not
with the girl or not?
She's not going to. Even Kathy says something about next week about her being a lesbian. Well, I said that for you.
To make you feel better.
Doogie.
Oh, I love it.
She was like, no, let me speak to this. Let me speak to this, please. So, nobody's doing what Kyle wants, and Kyle's mad.
I know she's mad. Damn
all right,
it. Okay.
Atlanta, hot Atlanta. All right,
hot and bothered Atlanta.
All right.
This was a darker one.
Well,
at the end.
Oh, let me just talk about the part that made me laugh out loud.
Okay.
When Kenya is sitting in her hair spa talking to Kelly.
Okay.
And Kelly's talking about her, divorce. And she's like, oh, my husband threatened to take everything away. And she's like,
she had her big bodyguard with her.
She goes, what, he try to color purple you? She's like,
that's right.
He tried to mislead me. You will never you will never. I was dying. And she's like, not only did he try to color purple and misleading me, she goes, but I waiting to exhale him. Waiting to exhale.
She came back for waiting to exhale.
She burned the car in the driveway. So she's like, I'm waiting to exhale him. Like she burnt the place down.
That was so
I was
funny.
Did he try to color purple you? Trying to see on me. I was crying.
You'd have to see the movie The Color
You'd
Purple
have to see
to
The Color
understand
Purple.
this reference. It's
Whoopi
so
Goldberg.
funny.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Whoopi Goldberg played Miss Celia, and she was being kept down by Danny Glover,
Yes.
who was playing her husband. And oh my God, I literally had to stop the TV. I laughed so loud. That was so funny to me.
So funny.
But you did see Kenya though get a little like, oh my God, like I'm worried. Did I just blow my daughter's entire college fund
$400,000
on this hair spa? I don't even know what hair spa is.
Did because she's not on the show anymore.
Well, I hope she's getting some people in the hair spa door. I hope the tracks are coming in the door.
I hope so. It looked beautiful.
Oh my God,
it
looked gorgeous.
It really did. I mean,
$400,000. You too can have some white marble and some fancy leather chairs. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I know black women really. Their hair is very important.
The hair is very important. It takes
it's very
long
important
time.
to everyone.
It's a lot of prep.
To all women. However, to black women, there's more that they have to do.
There's a lot to do.
But I didn't know if it was just like to put on wigs or to like
probably both.
Because Portia said, I'm going to take my
Extensions.
tracks out. I'm going to take my weave out and I'm going to let them massage my scalp. So
Yeah.
all that has to hurt too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's tight in there. Anyway.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
And
you could. I mean, I've heard this. You could be in there for like 3-4 hours. You
easily.
know what I mean? You go into a salon, it's like half the day.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My friend, who's a white woman, has a black daughter, and she said the first thing I did was take her to a female, to a black salon.
A black salon, of course.
To take care of her hair and to teach me how to take care of her hair. And
That
she's
was
like,
good.
it's a whole process.
It's a lot.
It takes a long time. Plus, if
Yeah.
they're getting braids or whatever they're getting.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes.
so it was a
Yeah.
nice moment between her and Kenya. But that line about the color purple,
God.
I
saw that was hysterical.
It was so funny. Anyhow,
But I do want to hear more about Kelly's background and with that.
Yeah, I
and
like
the
Kelly.
Abuse and the court, and she's got full custody of her daughters. It sounds very serious. I mean, you saw the bodyguard. She has a bodyguard.
full
Oh my
on,
God.
full fledged.
Full fledged. I mean, she is not joking around.
Let's talk about.
And she's I said she's a tiny little thing.
Well, let's leave the pistol for another thing. There was just a thing about Portia that I thought was, Portia's like, Cinderella got to wake up now. She's like, I got to get back to my business. What was it? Pampered? Is that the name of her stuff? And she's going into
what was
home
it? It was like a
goods.
lifestyle thing.
Well, now
a brand,
she's going into
lifestyle
a
brand.
bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
right. And she
yeah.
was just like, but what I thought was insanity was Dennis did exactly what she asked him not to do,
And he
which
seemed like
was
he didn't have a care in the world.
with Drew. Now, I don't know if that was filmed before she said it or after.
Right.
Who
Because
knows?
they edit it all over.
Who
right?
knows? But they're
Yeah.
airing it after, so they're making us look
Well, they're
like
making
it's
us
after.
think.
Right. And our girl Portia, Cinderella's woken up and she's not going to be happy.
Hell no.
If she's, and another
Yeah.
thing, I thought Dennis also threw a little shade at our friend Portia because he said, "Oh, really? She doesn't want you filming at me?" Well, she was over in Nigeria eating fufu when we started this. So I don't know. And then they're like, I was like, "Oh shit, Dennis, your ass is going to be in trouble."
Oh my God, forget
Portia,
it.
you better watch out. I would not want Portia on my bad
Well,
side.
do you know
Would
how
you?
they
I would
broke up?
not.
Did he leave her or she him?
Don't know.
Okay. Because that
I think she left him because I think
okay.
they never got
he
married.
cheated on her?
I believe he cheated on her.
Oh, all right. All right.
And then he's
So
like,
she can eat fufu all she wants. He cheated on her.
She was in Nigeria eating fufu when we started this. So I don't know what she's talking about. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, I really hope that was. No, it must have been after because she even said, Portia's not happy with me.
Okay.
And doesn't want. And then they're like, when did he become Quincy Jones?
Oh,
like,
my God.
These women make me laugh.
No, they're hysterical.
They make
the
me
quips
laugh.
that they have. Oh, my God.
Meanwhile, even and then one more thing before we get to the ridiculousness of
the dinner,
the bank vault, the Black Excellence dinner.
hosted by LaToya Jackson.
It was hosted by Britt.
Was Britt?
Angela.
I thought Angela.
Was it Angela? No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
it was Angela's party.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
I'm calling her LaToya Jackson
no.
now just because all I can stare at is her nose.
No, she's Michael Jackson. I told you. Michael Jackson never died and came back He's not living next door to Diddy's house in California, which is the conspiracy theory. He's been living underground next door to Diddy's mansion because there was like caves underneath, and they say they see a man out there walking who fits the bill of Michael Jackson, but no.
That's fascinating.
He's living in Atlanta. He has a peach, and he's Angela Oakley.
Angela
That
Oakley.
is what he is. Angela Oakley. He went through Charles Oakley's car washes, and it turned him into Angela. Anyhow.
She's, by the way, absolutely gorgeous. But
Angela?
Do you think she's going to get her nose corrected now because she's probably getting so much?
No. You know
so
why
much
she probably
talk
can't?
about her nose.
She probably cannot get the nose corrected. There's not
correct
a lot
it.
of
There's
bone
nothing left.
It's
Oh,
a Michael
God.
Jackson situation.
Okay.
There's nothing left. There's probably hardly any cartilage there. And Britt has a problem with her nose too because you could hear the nasal.
She sounds very nasally
because
doesn't
it's
she?
so
Do you think
narrow.
it was because she had a nose job
because
too.
how does this poor woman sleep at night? I was like, how?
Talks like this.
She sounds very
Sounds
nasally
like she has a,
Yeah.
because
She
she's
can't
cut her
she can't
airways
breathe
down.
through her nose.
She's cut her airways. She's probably like this.
I'm staring and her nose, if you notice, now I'm going to pick on her nose. It's a little crooked looking.
It's a problem.
It's not
both of them.
symmetrical. It is not symmetrical.
Both of them have problems
nose job.
breathing. They probably snore like
Oh my
maniacs.
God.
I can't even.
You're right. The bone is gone.
There's nothing there.
There's
I don't
nothing
think there's any
there.
fix in that.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
However, the final thing. Do you have anything you want to mention before we get to? She gonna learn today.
No, and this was just this bank vault dinner.
So the
was
bank
like,
vault.
oof.
They get to the bank vault, which I thought was cool, but it was in a bad part of town.
Yeah, I heard that.
Bad
Yes.
part of town.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what happens? So there's some shade going down. First of all, I thought it was hilarious. They're like, all right, we're going to ask some questions. And they're like,
You know it's always going to be trouble when they do that.
what color's
Let's put
your,
the questions in the box.
Kenya, what color's your underwear? Oh my gosh, you got the biggest vagina I have ever seen.
Does that mean she wasn't wearing underwear?
Of course, she just lifted it up. I knew she wasn't going to
She
be
did a
wearing
Sharon
underwear.
Stone.
I knew she's probably just.
She did a basic instinct.
She's probably just wearing her tights, pantyhose, whatever, and you can see right through. Just,
There you go.
And she's like, "Oh, you got the biggest vagina I ever saw." And I was like, "All right, Kenya's in a playful mood, right?
Yes.
She's playing."
Also, I like that she was wearing green when everyone was supposed to wear black.
She's like, "It
She
said
stood
it
out.
right on the invitation."
It did.
She was like, she just, inadvertently missed that, but she's like, "It's Versace," but they were all supposed to wear black excellence. Okay, fine. So now we're getting into it, and Angela says, "Oh, I know." Britt says she's having a moment. She's like, "Girl, I am a moment." And then she
I
was like,
love it.
"Okay," and she's like, "Did I come for her?" And she's like, "I love it that you're using my catchphrase." Kenya says, because she is. She's using her. I didn't come for. Don't come for me unless I call for you.
Yeah.
That was Kenya's one-liner, which is fabulous.
Of course.
And
She's got some really good one-liners.
And the fact that
always.
she's like, "I love that you're using my catchphrase," and then she's
Yeah.
like, so all she said was, "Peasants cannot come for the queen."
Yeah.
That was it.
That was it.
And that is what threw
But that's a
Britt.
classic thing that Kenya would say to anybody.
Right. That's like Kenya saying,
And
"Hi,
that's
how
just
are
her
you?"
being funny.
That's
and
Kenya being Kenya.
That's Kenya being
And
Kenya.
you should expect that every. And then she was like, "Oh no!"
Oh, no.
Oh, and then it went all
she's like,
crazy.
"Oh, no."
And she's like, "I got my pistol, and I got whips, and you gonna learn today.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
gonna learn today." What is she gonna learn? You
It
gonna
got
shoot her?
dirty.
But here's the thing. Claudia Jordan, who used to be on the show, who was on Deal or No Deal, remember? She was one of the case girls.
Yes.
She was also on Real Housewives of Atlanta for a while.
Okay.
And she was just like, "No, wrong show. Like, do not with the pistols." Like,
yeah.
now we're threatening with guns. And then
Yeah.
Britt's like, "I didn't have any guns on me. I never threatened anybody." Well, you are saying
Yeah.
she gonna learn today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who she did. She gonna learn.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Peasants." Again, she's using Kenya's own shade against her.
I know. I know.
I'm like, this is Kenya's shade. Like, get your own shade, Britt.
Yeah.
And then that rotten husband of hers, like, she's like, "Oh, he's supposed to be outside." Like, what does this man do? Just wait at home with fuzzy slippers? When she was out to lunch with her sister, she's like, "Oh, Mike's calling me, telling me time to come home."
Oh my God.
What does he do at home? Making you a pie?
Yeah, probably.
Like, what, wearing your little apron?
He's like her Uber driver.
Ew.
I don't know.
This guy, I've seen him once, and I'm
yuck.
already so grossed out.
Yuck.
Why is she not seeing what hanger-on or nightmare this guy is.
Yeah, he is.
Either way, now what's happening in the land, like Bravo fans are going crazy, and they're calling for Britt to be fired and Kenya to be brought back.
Okay, so Kenya,
because they see why she retaliated next week.
Now we understand it.
Now we're going to see why she retaliated.
I'm just wondering why they took Britt's side. I know that Kenya did this revenge porn. I think Bravo's always afraid of getting sued. That's what I think.
You know what? I think
you know what? Because I think they're
just
afraid.
I think Bravo likes to play all of this shit out. Like I think but this got a little low rent.
It did.
When you start,
yes.
When you start in with I got my pistol. What and whips? What do you?
And didn't she have them take the mics off her?
Britt.
She was getting like real
she's
down
like,
and
get
dirty.
it off. Like I'm like,
get it
okay.
Off. Like, what are you gonna do?
And by the way, Kenya
is your dirty
so
boyfriend gonna pull
smart.
out?
Kenya is also very litigious. Immediately, she's gonna be like, and then she was. Did you hear in the car with Portia? Yeah. She was like, "Oh, I'm not." Excuse me. She's like, I'm not saying anything about Angela Oakley. She's like, I don't want a problem with her husband.
No, I know.
I don't want a problem with Charles. So, well,
Charles, I wouldn't want to mess with Charles Oakley.
I don't know anything about Charles Oakley.
He's known to have a temper.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
He got if you saw the last episode, he got kicked out of the Knicks and he went on a rant.
Oh,
and
I
he
did
was
see that.
drinking
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want any trouble with him.
Yeah.
So Kenya's not dumb, and Kenya's very pointed at what she's doing. It's like, just let her take it. Take it. You know.
So, but you see why Kenya took the revenge. Now she took it a little too far.
No, we don't know what we're gonna find out
in this next episode.
But that was out of hand.
Yeah.
With a threatening, whether she said she didn't have anything on her. But still, how does she know you're not going to show up at her house with a gun?
Oh, my God.
Because these women are crazy. Now
I'm sure Kenya was concerned.
And it's so bad. Yeah, she said, I need assurances that this woman's not coming after me. Like, it's a whole thing. And with all these housewives, like, who even knows? Britt's new. She's got herself a little errand boy there.
Britt. Like,
she's got
brand new.
Like she's taking on Kenya, who has a big fan base.
Yeah, she does.
Like,
yeah. Now they're going to show a picture next week of her giving a guy a BJ, right?
Oh, is that?
Yeah,
that's Angela. No, Britt. Oh, Britt. Oh,
so
it's going to be good.
Kenya is seeking her revenge,
but again,
and this is how at her opening of her spa
little low
salon,
rent.
She's going to show.
Supposedly,
it's a picture of Britt giving a guy a BJ.
All right. Well, I hope she smiled for the camera. Because he's going to be on next week. And they're saying, why is Britt Edie not fired for threatening her with a gun?
Yeah, I know.
Even though she didn't have a gun on her.
That's the part that I'm concerned about.
I don't know.
What was Bravo thinking with this whole thing? Like I said, unless they just are afraid of getting sued. I don't know.
Calling for Kenya's return.
Okay. Well, I hope so.
So on that note, we shall see.
She didn't get fired. She got suspended.
Oh, okay. So maybe she will come back.
Suspended,
maybe they're like, let's let it play out. Oh, I'm sweating after that conversation. I feel like there was a lot to get out.
It was a tough one.
It was tough, but it was good.
So
next week we're going to see Beverly Hills, and of course we're going to
part 2 of the 3 reunions is
three
next week.
reunion of Beverly Hills. Yes. We have to do a third. They always want to just kick us, like, just make us sweat.
Well, are we going to talk more PK and Dorit?
Oh, how much more?
I don't know.
How much more? All right, so we will see you for what do we do? Summer House and
the last Southern Charm reunion.
All right.
Yes, that's
so. We will see you then. Thanks for listening, Littler Podcast, LITLR Podcast, and thanks for the shout out.
Yeah.
NS Lifestyles, we appreciate it. Oh, and for our YouTubers, Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov. We got Mazel Tov cars here.
Yes.
All right. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.